Hey everybody on YouTube. So I'd figure I would make an update about my lovely vertigo and dizziness, just a little one. And talk about some other new health developments happening in my life. One is new, and I think I might have mentioned it on the other video. And sorry, my dog is barking because the male person is walking up to my door. So, sorry about this. Oh my god. Gizzy, please stop. Gizzy, please stop. Put your tush down. Good girl. So, yes, my lovely dog. She thinks the whole neighborhood is hers. So, yeah. And our lovely, lovely post office person, delivery dude, girl, whatever. Yeah. So, they don't even take it to the door. They stick it in the driveway where everybody can see it. I mean, come on. Stupidity. But whatever. So let's move on. So yeah, this video's an update. Oh yeah, back to the health thing. I think one that I talked about in my last previous video. The other one is not one that I've talked about, but I've had my whole life. So yeah. So let's just start off with the vertigo and dizziness. Let's see, vertigo and dizziness have been pretty good. Haven't had too many migraines, which is awesome. Let's see. Last month I had an episode. It was like the beginning of last month. I had an episode. Was it last month or the month before? What month are we in? We're in April. So it was March. Yeah. So I want to say it was like the beginning of March that I had an episode. And actually I woke up with it. And I easily could tell which side it was on. So I ended up doing not the Epley maneuver, it's the other maneuver that's like a half somersault thing. So I ended up doing that, and that really helped. Plus my husband made me food, because I didn't eat much the day before. Like, I had like 12 or 13 hours between, was it 13 hours? No, it was like 11, 12 hours between eating. So, and I had only one meal prior to that. And so what I ate, pretty much I ate like 2 pickle spears and a half a cup of cottage cheese for dinner. And that was it, because I wasn't really hungry. So, well, I ended up waking up with vertigo, and after he fed me and after I did this half somersault thing, I felt better. But I still took the day off from work, and I took the next day off of work because I was off. It was short, thank God. Like, I had the episode, I felt off the rest of the day. The next day, I still felt off as the week went on, but it got lesser and lesser as the month went on. And, which is awesome. But it freaked me out too, because it's like, oh my God, not again. I don't want this. Because it was the first episode I've had in a year and 3 months. So I was doing so good, but, so far I've been okay, knock on wood, I still pray that I don't have another episode and they'll become, few and further apart kind of thing and not last as long. And I've noticed that since, 3 years ago compared to now, if I do have an episode, it's short, and my brain can start healing quicker. And I think it's due to my medication, and I'm trying to stay hydrated more. So I think it's that combination. Changing my food really didn't help me. So, except I've noticed if I because I've recently cut back on my dairy. I'm not drinking milk anymore. I mean, I'll add some milk and like macaroni and cheese, but recently I did that and I got sick and I ended up waking up with a migraine the next day, so I decided to not. I'm fine. It's weird. It's like if you add milk after something's cooked, it makes me sick or I have a migraine or it makes my head dizzier. But if you cook with milk or dairy, I'm fine. I can't do yogurt anymore because that just upsets my stomach and makes me feel horrible. What else? I can do cheese, surprisingly. Cheese does not bother me. So eggs sometimes bother me too. So I never know how it's going to go whenever I have an egg. But eggs don't bother me as much as milk does. So I quit drinking milk and I'm putting like coconut milk into everything. And my creamer is non-dairy creamer. So I'm really trying to go to non-dairy. I'm cutting back on my gluten a bit. So that's been fun. My next thing I need to really cut back on is sugar. But sugar is my drug of choice in life. I have a huge sweet tooth thanks to my father. He did too. I mean, he was a guy that would like get up in the middle of the night and go to the store and buy something sweet or start cooking like a cake or cookies during the middle of the night because he wanted something sweet. I'm not that crazy with my sweet tooth. But I really need to limit my sugar because I also have diabetes on both sides of the family and I have a higher chance of developing that. Usually starting between age 35 now and like 60 or something like that. So yeah, so I need to cut back on that, which is harder, a lot easier said than done. I've cut back on my coffee intake. I only drink like 2 cups of coffee now. 1 to 2 cups of coffee. But before I was like drinking 4 to 6 cups of coffee a day. And I was actually drinking coffee instead of eating. And that's not a good thing. So yeah, and I'm trying to eat more. So sometimes I'm good at, sometimes I'm not, you know. If I'm really busy, I tend to like skip lunch. I do eat breakfast now. Before I wasn't eating breakfast, but now I do. But that's my update with my health and vertigo and dizziness. So, and actually this week has been like really good this past week. It's been barely noticeable. I do think it has to do with the fact that last Monday we had to put our cat down. And that kind of took me out of my brain. It gave my brain something else to focus on instead of how I'm feeling within my body. So, I mean, that was a nice little break. It was a sucky break, but it was a nice little break for my head. So, yeah. And a good development that happened yesterday. I drove to the city, which is about a half hour away. And I mean, I had to drive my mom into the city, which this is the first time I've done that in like 3 years. I was very nervous on the way down, but I was fine. And when I got home, I mean, I was totally fine driving back. I was afraid I was going to have an episode. I didn't have the panic attack feelings like I was having, like I was before. So thank God. So that's a new good development, I guess. Cause you know, it's been 3 years since I've done that. So that's a positive thing. Oh, and I parallel parked my car for the first time in my life this past week. I did it twice. And anybody who knows me, I suck at parallel parking. I'm good if there's like no cars in front of me or behind me and I can parallel park. But usually if there's a car in front and a car in back, I cannot parallel park to save my life. But I did it. I don't know what's happening to me. But hey, so that's awesome. Okay, so that's vertigo and dizziness. The next thing is, and the thing I think I talked about in the last video is I was diagnosed with gout. Haven't had another reoccurrence with that. He put me on medication. He gave me medication for it in case it happened again. But it hasn't happened again, and I pray to God it doesn't happen again. I really do try to stay away from organ meats. And I don't eat very much red meat. I eat more chicken than anything. And fish. And I know there's certain fish you need to stay away from. I do think it's funny, though, that... So my 23andMe, the hemochromatosis tested positive. So I have it like from one side of my family, the gene. And I think it's funny that red meat and iron is what affects the hemochromatosis. Like, pretty much if you have hemochromatosis, you need to be careful of your meat intake because of the iron. Anything with high iron. Well, and then I ended up getting gout, and gout also has to do with your meat intake. And, but that has to do with the uric acid. But I think it's like all intertwined, the two of those. So I'm hoping once I get my other blood test done that it is hemochromatosis and it should be easily managed and taken care of. So, I'm hoping God is sending me a sign saying, you do have hemochromatosis. And if you get that in check and you start bringing those numbers down, you'll feel better and the dizziness and vertigo will go away. And your other health issues will go away. I'm praying to God that is my answer. Because I've been diagnosed with like the positional vertigo. And then I wasn't diagnosed with Meniere's or any of that stuff, but it was the positional vertigo, and then it was, what is it called? It has to do with your thyroid and can't remember the name of it. Hold on, I gotta move my hip. So, yeah, so I'm hoping that is my answer and it will fix everything. Giving blood. I'm praying. Because there's nothing else that it like really can be. Because I'm lost. Like, even they tested my immune system and all that, and how thought it was my thyroid, but it's not my thyroid. It's just, I don't know, thought I was having vestibular migraines. I'm not having vestibular migraines. There's two different things happening in my head and in my body. Yes, I'm having migraines, but vestibular, no. And I'm not taking that as a diagnosis. Like, no. There's something going on with me that we're not getting. So I'm hoping the answer to that question is hemochromatosis. I know that's sucky, but I think out of everything, I think that would be good. It's kind of like, so that's my answer. So you kind of stay away from me and you give blood every so often whenever your numbers are high. So, yeah. So that would be nice if that's what the answer is. So the next health thing is the one I was born with, that I've had my whole entire life, that I've never talked about. And I don't really talk about it with other people either. Because it really wasn't, like, I'm not my ailment or my handicap. I'm not really handicapped. I don't consider myself handicapped. But I was born with hip dysplasia as a baby. We corrected my left hip as a baby because at the time that's where it showed, hip dysplasia. So they double diapered me, put me in this like holster sling thing contraption for, I want to say, like first 3 to 6 months of my life, and I don't remember it. So let's see. So my parents did that, and they always kept me active as a kid. I mean, I did sports during fall, sports during summer, sports during spring. So, plus I did other things like school stuff, plays, and all this other stuff. But I was always active. So you think for as active as I was as a kid, I would have been a skinnier kid, but I wasn't. Thanks to genes. Yep. But I mean, I kept active and it didn't really give me problems. I'd have occasional pain in my hip if I overdid, which was very rare. But as I got older and as I hit my 20s, the pain was a little bit more. Not so much and not all the time. It was like when weather hit, I felt a little arthritis, nothing major. I could work through it. I still could exercise. I could still be active. Working wasn't, I could really push myself. And then up until, and I noticed like age 30 hit, my hip started to feel a little more off kind of thing, Like the pain was a little bit more, but still it was manageable. It wasn't so bad, and I didn't think about it all the time like I did. It didn't limit my life. Well, come, 3 years ago with my bad episode, as these years have gone on since then, like I want to say 6 months into my bad episode, could have been a little longer, I noticed my hip was killing me. And it wasn't going away. And it was there, and then weather would affect it, so it would make it worse. And as these years have gone on, and we're 3 years now down the road, my hip is significantly worse. The pain is worse. It limits what I can do. It limits my energy now. So now on top of it, I have like the hip pain and dizziness 24/7. And I have like good days and bad days with both of those. And then migraines on top of it. So it's like you got all these 3 things happening. And it's exhausting. Maybe that's why I'm always tired. Because I could like get 8-10 hours of sleep and still be exhausted. Like I got 8 hours of sleep last night. I'm tired. Like I could probably take a nap right now. But I'm not going to, because then it kind of like keeps me up at night. Because I get a burst of energy at night. I don't know why. So, like, my life used to be the opposite of what it is now. Like, I could go to sleep earlier. I slept okay. Now it's just all funky. So, and I kind of have to, like, live my life by how I feel day by day. And it's exhausting and I hate it. I can't just, like, live and go and be and not think about it. Now I have to think about it. And I'm like hyper aware of my body now, and it drives me nuts. So, I mean, I was aware of my body and what was going on with it before, but now it's like, I don't know, my brain is stuck on my body all the time. And I have like, I obsessively think about things. So me and an ailment, it just drives me nuts. But yeah, so 3 years ago, my hip started to hurt. Now it's 3 years later, and it's hurts all the time. I have a hard time sitting because I have to keep changing positions of my legs, because it gets to the point where if I'm stuck in a position for so long, it puts my whole leg asleep and then my foot asleep. And so I have to change the position of it, and so that's fun. And I can't be as active anymore. Like, all I do is I don't work out. I can't really walk, like, it, because it bothers me. I mean, I can walk, but I can walk down the street, but like halfway through, my hips throbbing, and it's like my hip and my leg are on fire because of it. Because I'm thinking is the arthritis is so bad, and the hip has been thrown off even worse because of my balance issues the last 3 years. I think it's played a role in making my hip worse. Even though my ENT and my neurologist and physical therapist says my balance is fine. But I'm compensating. I can tell I'm compensating in my body because of the balance, and then my hip. And so, yeah. So it's throwing that off. So my question is, are there any exercises out there or workouts for people with hip dysplasia? I'm not saying workouts or moves to keep the hip in shape from hurting, because I already do stretching for it, and I've been doing it my whole entire life, just because it feels better, and I didn't know I was doing these moves until recently. Like, I just saw this yoga video for hip dysplasia, and it's every move that I do. Like, I don't know. Like, that doesn't help me. No, I want like a workout for people with hip dysplasia who can't really like walk very far. I used to like do the treadmill and the elliptical at the gym. I can't do that anymore because it just kills my hip. I can do it for a little bit, but then it like, I can't go 30 minutes on it anymore. Let's see. I don't know, and I'm looking for like workouts you can do at home, because I really don't want to join the gym because it's hella expensive in my little town. And I don't want to waste money on a membership when I can't do some of the things there. I don't know. So, and I've looked on YouTube for exercises. Didn't really see much. I saw things for like dogs and babies, but not so much for adults. And if I did see something, it was to keep the hip in shape and to reduce on the pain. Which I already do. I just need like a workout that I can do at home that won't bother the hip as much. So I haven't seen any of those videos. I can't find one. So, because I don't want like my workout to be the whole focus of my hip. So, and there's videos on like exercising for workouts for people with hip issues or osteoarthritis or for the hip. Same thing. It's like not many exercises. So somebody needs to do a whole workout video for people with hip dysplasia. Like a variation of different moves, you know? So, and I'm not experienced enough to do anything like that. So it would be wonderful if I could find a video like that. So if anybody out there knows of a video, send it my direction. Or knows of a website that can help me with that, send it my direction, because I really need a workout. I hate not being as active. I mean, I am active to a point. I'm a massage therapist, so I'm active at work. I'm on my feet constantly. I'm moving around the table. I'm moving bodies. And in that you get a little bit of a workout, but I've been doing it for 14 years. And after 14 years of doing something, doing the same thing, your body gets used to it. So you start to not gain muscle. You start to, you lose any more weight. And I need to lose weight. So, yeah, that would be awesome if anybody out there has any ideas. Tell me what you do yourself. So yeah. So until next time, have a great week. Be happy. And don't let the world get to you. Because we are living in some crazy times. So see you later. Bye.